Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Just wanted to go over some basics today. My name is Anthony. I am the Canadian watchmaker. I am a watchmaker located in Toronto, Canada, and I am also a watch dealer. So please, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see some other videos along this line, please send me a message and let me know. And please also subscribe. I have also started a Patreon channel with some tutorials and training for watchmakers and watch collectors, a little bit more, well, not a little bit, but a lot more in depth than what you're going to see here today. So what I wanted to go over was basically some best practices and some of the tools that you need. This is going to be part of a few series that I'm putting out some quick videos here. But this one's going to be about installing watch hands and how to go about it the correct way, and some of the tools that you need along this regard. So this is just going to be a quick little video. Next couple videos I'm going to show one on removing the hands and some of the tools that we use. How do we prep some of those tools? Because when you get them right out of the package, sometimes they're not ready to go. So, sometimes there's a little bit of dressing that's needed on those tools, some of the different tools that are available, what I use myself. And then there's a lot of other tools that are available when setting up this. So basically, the most important thing, and this is going to be a real big stress that I'm going to have, especially on my Patreon channel, is the importance of maintaining originality with everything. And when a watchmaker goes into a watch and finishes, does their work and reinstalls the watch, there's not supposed to be any trace that they were in there whatsoever. So with that in mind, how do we go about protecting hands and protecting dials? And then also some of the tools that you need just to install hands. I see a lot of times some people, when they're installing hands, the pipes are broken on the hands. I'm going to put another one out, another video later today. I have an example of a chronograph that I got in, and the pipe is broken. So, how do you fix that, or how does that happen? And things like that. But basically here in this video here, one of the ways I was taught, or one of the recommendations that I was given when I was teaching myself to become a watchmaker was work on ladies' movements. So there's some of the smallest movements available that are on the market. And you see sometimes some people working on some pocket watches. Once I got familiar with the layout of the watch and handling parts and things like that, with screwdrivers and with tweezers, finger cots and things like that, I made the jump right away on somebody's recommendation to get to the ladies' movements, and really, the world became a lot smaller and a lot more delicate. The pivots on a lady's watch are very, very delicate. And it was very interesting, because then once I got to a regular size, men's watch, like in a 10.5 line or a little bit bigger, if you want to know what lines mean, it's another unit of measure for the diameter of a watch movement. A little bit more information from that, you have to subscribe to my Patreon channel and we'll get into that. But again, back to what I was saying, the world became a lot smaller. And then once I made the jump back, the world became a lot smaller when I was working on the ladies' movements. And once I make the jump back to, regular size, it was a lot easier. Hairsprings were very, very delicate on the ladies' watches. So it became a very big emphasis on keeping everything intact. And when I was learning to make sure that a hairspring was flat, an equal amount of space between the coils. On the ladies' watch, it's very, very small, and it's in my opinion, it's one of the best ways to learn when you're adjusting the hairspring on a small little ladies' baguette watch. So if you like a little bit more of that, I might have a quick little video coming out from there. So one of the things I wanted to go over is how do we protect once the hands are removed. Just sort of a best practice that I have for myself. I have a container here, and I took the liberty of folding up another piece of paper. I learned this from another watchmaker. So basically I have some watch paper here, so it's lint free. I folded it up sort of into an accordion side shape here, and I have these little compartments that are here in this case here, and what this allows me to do is separate the hands and keep them protected while I'm working on the watch. You can, I see some people, I try not to use Rutico as much as I can. Reason being is even if the Rutico is very, very fresh and brand new, it does tend to leave a residue on there. And for myself, I just try not to use it as much as I can. And I sort of learned this method here from somebody, and I adapted it from there. Also, one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to installing watch hands, I'm just going to show you some tools over here that I use. I do not use, there are some sort of some really nice watchmaker tools that are available. I'm just going to move this out of the way here, and we can see the tips through here. These are from Horatech. There's a number of different companies that make them. And what they basically have is different size diameters in the watches. Let me just do a quick little switch here on the autofocus so we could see what we're talking about there. So you could see there's a little diameter hole here that's in the center. So depending on the size of the hand that you're putting on, this is sort of a flat one here for the top of seconds hands. So all of these materials here are very, very soft. Not too soft, but they don't scratch. So it allows you to install the hands. Let's see if we could see that through there. Right? So sorry with the focus, we might not be able to see that. But there is a hole through here, right? So you're able to grip around the hand and install it. These are what I use because it tends to give me a little bit more control with what I'm looking for. The other reason is some of the older watches that I work on, some of the hands are bent deliberately by previous watchmakers. We'll get into that a little bit more in depth when I make some of my other videos. But you can only bend some of those hands back so much. Some of them are very thin, and you run the chance of breaking them. So you can only go back so much. So at that point, normally when hands are installed on a watch, for the most part, unless the dial is curved, the hands have to be parallel with the dial. Okay, so when you're looking at it from the side view, there we are, looking at it from the side view, the hands are parallel with the dial. Even with a curved dial, the hands have to be parallel with each other. They cannot be, they're not equally spaced between them, but they run parallel with each other. That way, when the watch is running, there's very little chance of the hands touching, one, so it doesn't damage the hands, but then two, so the watch doesn't stop. So you know, there's a lot of emphasis that goes in there, and working on these little watches here, you have very, very little tolerance when it comes to that. But one of the other things that I notice online is there's movement holders like this, which are really, really good, which, you know, a lot of people have, and, you know, we sort of recommend. This is a version around, what, 4040, I think? Yep, 4039, right? Now, but this particular movement here has a center seconds hand. Now, I'm just going to protect this movement here. Pop this off here. Now, in the center of this holder, we could see that there's a post here, and that post adjusts its height. And what that does is it supports the jewel on the back here where the center second pinion comes down and supports the watch. So when you're putting pressure on it, it supports it through there. So I recommend, if you're working on watches like this, say for example also the 7750, same thing. There's some versions of the movement holders which have these supports through here. So if you like this video, um, I'll go a little bit more in depth on my channel. But yeah, it's very, very important to get the right tools to install, and then also the right tools to remove the hands on a watch. Not only to put them on, but have them stay on. And then also when you're putting them on, you want them to stay. You want to install them without damaging them. And I'm going to do another video later on today. I'll show a chronograph, like I mentioned earlier, a chronograph hand where the pipe is completely cracked. Okay, so if you like this channel, or if you like the information on this channel, please like and subscribe here. But there is a link in the description on this video. So please take a quick look over to my Patreon channel. We're going to be going in depth on watchmaking training tutorials. But the reason why I became a watchmaker is because I was a watch collector first, and then I found the wonderful world of watchmaking. And in my channel, I'm going to show the direct relation between something like this. So when I started to learn watchmaking, this gave me a lot of knowledge when I was going to buy watches, what to look out for. Okay, so there's a direct relationship between those two. So thank you very much for your time, and yeah, see you in the next video.